Thank you. Can I have this? How do I get the next slide on? Yeah. So I just to set the context of the subject we are discussing today. It's collaboration. It's a very comprehensive subject, and I don't think we can do justice in half an hour, 45 minutes for this. So I thought I'll just to help all of us, we'll just set the context. It's a long journey, you know. It's just a roadmap which I'm just showing here, in my view. And idea was that how do we go through this journey? Now, if you can go to the next click, please. So basically, I will divide this journey into two milestones. One is the inward milestone, where you start from your optimization process of the core systems, then you move on to the integration and automation of the internal systems, and that's where you finish your internal journey, and then you go on to the next slide, please, where you get into the onward journey, which is outside your enterprise, where you start looking at data from all sides, and also start looking at how do you do data, how do you become a data-driven company, data-driven enterprise, build experiences for your internal stakeholders or external stakeholders, and then finally you start networking with the world outside your enterprise to build a real collaboration space, you know. So that's the context I wanted to set. Let me quickly start. We're already out of time. Let me start, Ashim. In your view, what is your, you know, as a solution provider, where do you think this space fits in?
Yeah, hi. See, as a solution provider and as a system integrator, you know, of a RFID system. So if we look at any system, it is always part of a subsystem of a mega system, you know, some other system. So, and we are now from computerization with RFID, we are putting in the automation layer. So without collaboration, you know, with various stakeholders, you know, in our case, if we are talking of retail, you know, especially retail in fashion and apparel, you know, if we see the collaboration is at different levels, and right from the manufacturers, you know, to the ERP solution providers, to the point of sale providers, to the providers who are involved in solutions like smart mirrors and all for enriching customer experience. And of course, the collaboration is more and more significant because in the O2O journey, that is online to offline and offline to online, you know, where omni-channel and so many other methods of selling are becoming more and more relevant, you know. But what we are observing is nobody is interested in reinventing the wheel, okay. So it is more of, you know, people are looking for solutions which are ready and which are ready from the perspective of integrability, how ready they are for integrating with the existing systems and all. So I think that collaboration is the key to growth. Without collaboration, there is no growth today in any business.
Jaideep, before I come to the practitioners, let me take the view from the solution providers, yeah.
Thank you, Ajay. Let me start from the collaboration word itself, right? From a high level, end of the day, everything is a collaboration. You can't survive, you can't sustain, you can't do your activities if you don't collaborate all along, right? So you very correctly said, and the point that I really liked about what you said initially was, help yourself before you start helping others, right? You have to have a strong system of not only collaboration, but digital transparency, data, ensuring that data is available. You are able to understand what the customer is talking about. You should be able to understand what your partners and vendors are talking about. You should have a very, very strong internal system before you start making a real dent into an external world, right? If your internal systems are weak, any edge case will throw you off the target, right? So that I firmly believe in, and yes, collaboration could be between two people sitting and having a conversation, to a group, a large conference, Collaboration again could be structured, semi-structured, or an unstructured collaboration, right? So the idea is, without having a conversation, without having some single pane of glass to look at, or the similar activities to look at, you can't move forward. Otherwise, it's all very gut-based, a feelings-based organization, which may or may not last very long.
Let me move to Balaji. You have gone through whatever I understood from the conversation we had before this, that you've gone through a certain level of internal, integration already. And the good thing about this panel is, friends, that we are lucky to have people from all, practitioners from all formats. There is a grocer, there is a home store, and there is a, lifestyle store, and there is a pharmacy, so they're all different challenges and different businesses. So as a pharmaceutical retailer, what challenges you went through internally in terms of, engaging with the internal stakeholders while doing the integration?
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. So if you look at the Apollo Pharmacy as a whole, we are close to 5,000 outlets across the country and 40,000 employees. And we deliver around 9 lakh prescription every day. So as Ajay mentioned, it requires a lot of collaboration internally. When you put up a transformation inside the system, it requires a strong internal system and internal collaboration first. Because if you take up any healthcare kind of network, and what we have a kind of a physical asset among us, and it needed a connected environment. Internally, it needed a connected environment wherein we can give a single approach to the customer as Apollo. So if you see Apollo internally, there are many verticals internally we manage, and it may be clinics, diagnostics, pharmacies, or a doctor's appointment. But as a Apollo, the front-ending a digital face to the consumer, it is all one. So for this, we need to work a lot internally. So internally, we have a control tower kind of it, so that it is a connected environment and regular reviews internally among us. And there are so many connects. If you take a delivery or fulfillment from the pharmacy, it needed a lot of visibility among the data. So internally, we have to come through a lot of challenges, and we need to fix. And this will help us engage with the customer in a better way. It may be a single user journey we take it, or an experience we create to the customer. It needed a lot of insights also. So when we collaborate well, all this we can able to give as an experience to the customer. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Thanks, Balaji. Now, let me come to Raj. When you work with the vendors, what is the kind of caution or you take while selecting the vendors when you know that you are on this journey of integration and collaboration? And what is that a factor you take into account when selecting a vendor?
Definitely. Since I am CTO, I'll assume the question is related to technology and not the footwear.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, see, there are two things that I look at when I look at any partner, right? One is the capability, and the second is the intent, right? Both of which are important. A vendor, a partner who has the capability, but you as a customer, they don't value, you will not get anywhere with the solution that you go ahead with. Same applies in the other case. Now, today, okay, I'm very happy to see that getting a partner is for a journey, right? A technology journey is not the challenge. Nowadays, having people in your team and sustaining them is a bigger challenge that is there. Yeah. But given the kind of venture funding, the startup ecosystem that I'm seeing out here, we are spoiled for choice as far as partners are concerned, right? And the trick is ensuring that you have the right partner and the right technology combination, okay, with sufficient top-level buy-in for that project and the business user as part of your team. This, holy quadrilateral will ensure that you have a fair degree of success. Right? Thank you.
So Ranjit, you started from scratch, building this new format for Hippo Store. and everything was, new, not just technology, but, practices and processes and people in the organization. What were your challenges in bringing the cross-functional ideas and people together and bringing their thinking and processes together in this whole journey? Because I know your mindset, how you operate, and you're somebody who would like to work in a clear track. So I think it'll be interesting to know your journey.
So I think collaboration is actually the unsexy term for digital transformation, right? And when you use the word digital transformation, we all think of it as that holy grail. If you achieve it, then you become a completely different company, a hugely successful company. But before that term, we all know that companies that collaborate well are companies that really succeed. And if I remove my non-technology hat, I will say that the biggest impediment to collaboration is actually the culture of the organization, right? And today, with all the digital tools at our disposal, it's there are still huge gaps that we see between communication and collaboration and what should have happened vis-a-vis what actually happened. It's not because of lack of tools, it's because of culture of the organization, the way a particular department thinks, the way communication filters from above to the ranks below. So a very, an example which stayed with me yesterday, I was on a flight and we were just about to take off. And there was a huge commotion, and we just inquired with the cabin crew what's happening. There were some passengers behind who were, I was sitting in the front row, I couldn't see back, but there was some commotion that was going on, and we checked with the cabin crew. What they said was that the configuration of the aircraft had changed at the last minute, and the people there had paid for extra legroom, and because of the changed configuration, that legroom was no longer available. No communication to the passenger, no communication whether they will get a refund. Now, technology was available to do it, but somebody goofed up, right? And in the end, who was called in to fix the problem? The security people. The last people who should be actually looking at a problem like that. So I feel, coming back to your question, that in a smaller organization, what I found was, because we were trying to start up, and because we were all moving towards a goal of opening business at a particular time, we were all clearly aligned on that deadline, and the fact that all of us had to move at a common pace to achieve it. So my experience of working in a larger organization vis-a-vis a smaller organization is collaboration works very well in smaller organizations, and as the organization grows in size, grows in scale, then the silos start building up, and silos are actually the biggest obstacles to collaboration. So any company that recognizes those silos and invests in processes and tools to breaking them down are companies that are more likely to succeed.
So Anil, let me come to you. So you are, your journey is similar to Ranjit. The only thing is you inherited some systems, when you started Lulu in India, and so you're going through the same thing. What has been your experience, both from the point of view of bringing functional people together, understanding their needs and their difficulties, and also making them all aligned to one journey?
Sure, thanks Ajay. You rightly said that we inherited something, so it becomes legacy. The biggest challenge for any big organization is legacy systems. Now, how do you bring in two aspects here? One is a legacy system and one is a culture, to a level where as Ranjit was talking, collaboration / digital transformation. That's the key challenge which you are currently going through. Now, how can I, or what am I trying to do to resolve it, or what I'm trying to do? I run these 3 threads. One is the collaboration thread internally, collaboration thread externally, and then make sure that the base legacy systems or the base legacy processes are even reviewed to a level saying that people are in an accepting mode rather than more on a rejecting mode. So most of our digital technology or transformation, when you grow suddenly out of the blue, so Lulu was one particular mall in Cochin. Today, every other newspaper is holding some X number, and in X city, we are going to come up, so on and so forth. So the scalability is huge, or the vision is large. And to drive this vision, the 3 pillars are making a lot of difference for us in terms of culture, understanding user training, and when you say user, it's just not only customer, but employees in a large, giving them the power, the ownership to actually work out what we're trying to build in. Second, as I said, external collaborations. Some things are easy to go to market. They really do not need to re-engineer the whole world and try to get it there. So partner ecosystem is highly valuable for us as of now. And the third one, which is more internal in terms of what are the base systems which we can move out and what processes can be done. Well, there also we have an internal collaboration and external in terms of consulting vis-a-vis our learnings from last couple of years.
Thanks. So let me come back to you, Balaji. In your view, when you bring in, when you're doing these initiatives internally, what is the role of functional team in your success or your failure? How do you involve them? You involve them only at the approval level or at the initial level? I mean, what is their involvement and what is their buy-in into the whole journey?
It's all a commitment. Basically, if you see a fulfillment team or a operation team, so they have to be part of the journey, and their silos and our silos, we should able to fix that. Like something, the expectation of the business on the process, some process we could able to automate and come out of keeping it like a silo and not discussing, that will create more problems. So instead, we should take that up and building a collaboration with them and asking their pain points and fixing, that will be the major outcome we can able to bring in any of the thing.
So let me go back to Ashim and Jaideep. When you are working with any retailer or any enterprise for that matter, and what is the caution you take in terms of engaging with other brands or other partners in the process of collaboration? Because you're not working in alone, right? When you're working in an enterprise and helping them into the whole collaboration journey, there are other partners also who are engaged with them. So how do you kind of collaborate with them? Is there any specific mantra or it doesn't matter?
Rather, it is the only thing that matters, for us to be successful, to collaborate with the right partners who have the right mindset.
No, but they are your competitors as well, right?
Competitors, yes, but it's again the mindset, it is more of complementing each other. Not everybody can do everything. You have a pulse for few things, So whenever we are looking at, it's retail, when you look at retail per se, it's a huge market, there is enough business for all of us to do. So even if we have collaborated with competitors as well, many a times, and we have found out ways and means of creating models wherein we can create a win-win situation not only for our within the competition, but most probably keeping the interest of our customer in mind, So we create such kind of models, and I think more and more companies are having a bent of mind to do that. With the limited bandwidths, with the limited resources available, mostly on the manpower side, especially in technology and IT, you know, we are having the greatest challenge is finding the right kind of people. So I think with competition also, the idea of complementing each other matters, and when two organizations are also collaborating with each other, it is at the end of the day the set of people who are working together, you know. So the evaluation, right, I think mostly in the first meeting itself, during the kickoff itself, we come to know where this project is going to be, and you have to be true to yourself, true to your customer, and spell out very clearly and honestly, because if you look at you are more senior to me, Aggarwalji, and you will agree to me that the success rate of our IT projects globally is around 18%, you know, and 18% success rate for any IT project, and this data I learned very recently from one of a very senior colleague in software industry.
I'm not sure, because I wouldn't have survived till now if that was so.
I'll tell you the name offline who told me this, and and they evaluate the success rate based on the service contracts, which are the repeated contracts. You know, so only if you get a repeated contract or a service contract, they term it as a successful IT project. You know, and that is 18 to 20%, 18% to be precise, and I think the main reason for this, you know, is setting out the right kind of expectations in partnerships and collaborations.
Jaideep?
So Ashim is absolutely right, where we need to collaborate and work together. However, two things are important. Number one, you are working on behalf of someone, right? So if you don't do your job well, the simple adage could be collaborate or die, right? It's an open market. People know that this is a tough team to work with, right? Word spreads fast. If that happens, the next level of contracts you're not gonna get, right? No one is gonna talk to you. That's one part of the story. The second part is the person who's trusted you to give you that project, that contract, that work, right? If that person, if you are not able to deliver value to that person,
yeah, you are letting that person down.
You're letting that person down, and end of the day, it's going to hurt you, right? So if you are willing to, you know, I'm not saying compromise. That's not the word I want to use here. But I'm saying if you are willing to let go of few ego issues here and there, you're willing to meet people at a level that the other wants to meet you at, that's the only way to move forward, right? And trust me when I say this, you keep writing emails and the other guy, it's an email game, it's an email battle that's happening, right? You should do this, I should do that. The other hand is face-to-face. Most of your problems are solved when it's a face-to-face conversation, right?
So let me go to Ranjit and Raj now. Just give us some tips, and since you are more experienced in this lot here, of what are the criteria you use to select partners and vendors for important journey like this?
Okay. I think I already answered that question with respect to capability and intent. But let me add a bit to what your earlier question out here. See, all projects today are ecosystem plays, especially given software as a service, everybody claiming we have APIs for everything under the sun, right? But what is important as an organization is when you're doing an ecosystem play, when you are ensuring that two systems speak to each other, the role of you as a technology custodian of the organization, one's job is not to outsource everything and you outsource your gray matter in your brain also, right? It is important to play the role of if I may say so, of a parent, right? When both the children are behaving, your life is set, right? But a lot of times the blame game starts. And that's where it's important that at the start of any initiative or project, the responsibility matrix, right, is to be set allocated and signed off with each of the partners. That being said, there will be times when the mailbazi, as one of the panelists puts it, happens. At that point of time, it is one's job to play the role of an arbiter, where get all the parties into a face-to-face conversation, okay, take a decision, and that decision might not be to everybody's liking. I mean, that's what we get paid for, right? To ensure progress happens, you take those hard decisions, document it, and move on, right? I think that adjudication is very important to ensure that 18% success rates become 81%. Yeah, thank you.
So Ajay, when I work with partners, the first thing I look for is how flexible that partner is. And that's
so
where
flexible, you say in what sense?
See, very often when we start off a project, I'll be honest when I say that we wouldn't have thought through everything, right? If the project scope is going to be limited to the document that you signed off, then then that and the partner.
That's where all the disputes start,
That's where all the disputes start. So therefore, if the partner is flexible to understand that, the customer has not really understood it, and and it applies to both, both sides. Even as a customer, we have to be honest and say that we didn't think about this, and this is something which has come up at the last minute. The partner has put in extra resources, and we need to compensate them for it. So if there is honesty on both sides, then I'm sure it's going to be a great relationship. And that's where I find, it very, very refreshing to work with startups. So startups go, they really want to succeed. They want that client logo on their website. So they are very flexible. Some places where they are a little bit lacking is they don't have enough resources. So they may at times be reliant on one or two key critical resource, and if that person is unavailable at that point in time, then your project is at a bit of risk. So, but nowadays, and actually in the last few months, with talent being so scarce and so expensive, it's a bit accentuated, but now I think things are getting back on track.
So, Anil, like Ashit said, 18% success rate. When you look at a partner and you decide, okay, you want to work with them, so how do you evaluate whether it's 18% candidate or 100% candidate or 81%? Is that a criteria to start with?
Not really. We do not get into that part of it because as Ranjit was saying, I'll take a leaf from there, is that flexibility part of it, the understanding the extra value add which that partner is no more called as vendors, it's called as partners. That itself shows a difference in the way we approach a tech brain, if I have to call it. So part one, look at them in a different mode first. Don't look at them as a vendor and the BRD, the sign off, and this goes like this and so on and so forth. The flexibility is a large scale success factor for us now. Secondly, how good are they in augmenting your future plans? It's not that I do a project with you right now and you cut off from that and you get an AMC and then you move. How can you augment in the future part of this journey of ours? So as retailers, we need to be open enough to show them the complete picture to them, the roadmap as far as we can see. Now it's no more 3-year, 5-year plan. It is more 12 to 18 months plan which we work on. And how can they bring in that value adds in different steps because they are also working on roadmaps. These are 2 or 3 key areas which we envisage on and we work around with them to see what is that extra nudge we are going to get in the complete journey of it.
So let me come back to the practitioners now. We don't have much time left. Don't look at this clock because this is going to delay everybody hereafter. So 1 minute each, please share your success and failure stories if you wish to, your experiences and key mantras behind success is, Maybe we can start with you, Balaji.
Yeah. So we see the success when you have a connect with the partner as a strategic way. So instead of having like a transactional, always we see that failures are more. When we have a strategic level approach with the partner and they are keeping them in a part of your journey. So, and they are well informed about what it needs.
Can you share any example, give an example where it was a big success, for what reason?
See, with our 5,000 stores, the implementation of the ERP is one of the key success, and now we are in the Omni. We are serving around 9 lakh prescription every day to the customers. These are all the success. This is a business project, but still it is a technology, it is enabled high. So that is a success, and there we connect with so many partners, right? For example, even our DSPs, delivery partners, our analytics partners, there are a lot of connects we have. Not only one single, we can't say from the top Microsoft to the new startup, we are connected in a different way. And some kind of failures will be always there. Some kind of failures, we have to accommodate that, and we have to be ready to accept that and go forward.
Anil?
Yeah, we recently had a success story around.
One of your failures.
Yeah, I know that.
I was. So don't talk about that, huh?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. No, that's because of the user experience. So for the larger audience, there was something happening between the partners on a particular platform. That's where we came up from the thought standpoint of view, from an user standpoint of view, and how do you educate your users that you are taking the next leap rather than being at the same arena and trying to resolve a lot of things. That's something which we are working on heavily now. The second good part of our success story was there was an underlining requirement from an employee standpoint of view of having a transparency around the platforms in terms of their very old school, but your ESS, the Employee Self-Service Portal, and what all can you bring out there, and so on and so forth. And today, because of the pandemic and everything, you're at different locations, or geolocations and all of that. That we implement very well, because we took a very strategic approach of first not just going and bringing a platform, but getting the know-how about the function being a part of the whole journey, right? That gave us a good chance out there.
Raj? Some particular key example you want to give about success?
So let me talk about success and then more importantly on failure. So I think the success for us has been in the whole e-commerce space, wherein 2 years ago we had 2 different technology stacks for 2 of our websites and 2 different partners, and nobody was happy with anything, and the infrastructure costs were more than what we sold, right? Today I'm happy to say, right, that we selected the right technology and the partner. We have 4 of our own brand sites running quite successfully, with costs coming down in multiples for ownership and operation of the stack. So that has been a success. It was not an easy journey, right? But it's like any relationship. You have your ups and downs. It's important that you sail through it together as a team, both IT, e-commerce, and the partner. As far as failure, I mean, one only learns. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. As far as failures are, do I need to repeat the first part? Okay. As far as failures are concerned, there is no compression algorithm for experience, right? So certain things, when you get a project from someone who's just joined the organization, who's very keen to bring about change, but you know for a fact that his vision is not bought in by the team below, right? Always take such projects with a pinch of salt, because they come as part of a charismatic leader's initiative, and well, if the person sustains, he will drive it through, but if the person changes his role or leaves the job, right, then you're left with shelfware. So thanks.
Yeah, so I remember failures a lot more. So we were working with a international point of sale software. Again, completely zero customer focus. So we are getting rid of them. I mean, we are building our own software. There was an order management system which we tried to deploy in a previous organization. 3 years in implementation, never worked as advertised, and the cost was just similar story, Raj, like yours. The cost didn't justify the deployment. But again, I think the successes were far more. We were able to implement SAP in my current organization. We were able to go live in just 5 months from scratch. So that was great. E-commerce, we just went live within 3 months. We were able to, I mean, thanks to the collaboration with all our support partners, we were able to get a complete business up and running in 6 months. And it was a complete omni-channel journey. And we started from zero. So that I think is the biggest success ever.
So Jaideep and Ashish, now let me come to you. From other side, I want to hear your stories of success and failures.
Yeah, so we are on the other side, as...
No, 18% is scary. So.
That is the key. We should change the topic of the discussion, I think. So, basically, we measure the success based on our customer's success. If we are able to enhance the business and if our customer is able to carry on the business as usual after deployment of our solution and the operational efficiency, cost optimization, and they are able to enrich their customers' experience, based on our solution offering, then I think we measure the success. And the reason for our success is because we have failed in the past. We are we work on a technology where everything starts with a POC. Not only our customer, but even many a times we don't know what needs to be done, what are the use cases, and we build on top of the use cases. We start with something and then suddenly we realize in the course of the deployment. So here, nothing goes by the document in the kind of solutions we are deploying. It's purely on the intent, as Rajgopalji said. Because from the workshops and consultancy to the POC to the pilot and regional rollout and then the national or a global rollout, that is our journey. The life cycle is very, very long. The sales life cycle sometimes runs in not only quarters but years. So working on such kind of technology, the measures of success are different, but the only thing which works is your pure intent for making your customer successful. And the mantra which we work in our office or in our organization basically is, if my customer is unhappy, I am unhappy. That's about it. So we just have to have happy customers.
Jaideep?
Yeah, the last words? All right. Success for us has been the fact that we are the linchpin for one of the largest eye care brand in India, at least, for their new store rollout, right? They've gone on record, they've made various statements here and there saying we would not have had so many store rollouts in the manner that we did. This is the platform that we built for them. That's a massive, massive success for us, right? A customer vouching for you, saying you've done good, right? That's very, very big for us. We are a very small company. It's just a startup, 3-4 years old. A failure for us is the fact where at certain places adoption of software is slow. Right? You may have the best of the breeds in the place, but internally the customer is not focused enough. The project probably derails in their own organization, or something else happens and the adoption of the software is not happening. Now, adoption is the fact which would lead you to 18%. Right? The software is not being adopted, so why should I pay you? Right? There's no reason for AMCs, renewals, licenses, whatever. So so as a part of the whole learning experience, right? My entry into this organization has been to ensure that 18% gets nudged upwards, right? And probably that's a part of learning from the failures. The organization learned and said, well, this is a place where we need someone.
Thank you very much. We'll have 2 questions quickly, if there are any questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Any questions? Thank you. Interesting session. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope you found it useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay.